Hi, welcome. It's Kristen from Life of Crafting. Yeah, there's my creaky chair. You know it's me. We're starting a new series here. I just got done a very long, lengthy one, and I wanted something quick, so I'm going to go with this Ciao Bella paper. I got these 3 sheets. It was at a crop weekend. I'm sorry, I just moved my camera. And I was going through her papers like I always do, and I go right to Christmas. And she had clearance stuff going, and this was literally all she had left. I looked through everything, and this was it. So she had these 3 12 by 12 sheets, and I fell in love with these cut aparts. My only issue is these aren't real cut aparts in the sense of, to me, you just cut it and go. The reason I'm saying is, if you notice, there's like a shadow, like they're sitting on a wood plank, which I like, but I can't just do the typical throw it, cut it, apart and use it. So for me, I'm thinking I'm going to cut on the inside of these lines. So this was the one sheet, and in the back was beautiful, but I don't know that I can use some of it. But I can recreate some of this. It's just music notes on a muddled looking background. I don't know if you can see that. So that, to me, I'm not really that concerned. I want to come up with one design. I wanted to blow them all out. My only problem is these are smaller, so I may have to come up with something different and just really only get 5 cards. I do like the pine wood look background. I'm going to see if I can either recreate that using these honeybee barnwood planks. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking I may try that. I want to go with something simple, thinking that this white piece would be my cut apart piece. Just a strip of something solid for an accent color. This is one of them colors that I don't know if I can pull it into the gray family or I can pull it into the brown family. I am liking, this is Stampin' Up's Early Espresso color cardstock, and I am liking the contrast of it with the brown, but I probably could pull out a black, or there is I'm trying to see if I like these ticket book things. I'm not sure I like that yet. Then I could also go to the grays. I think the best contrast is going with the brown, so I'm probably going to go in that family. Blue has been harder to match up, but we'll see if we can pull some blue cardstock in. So that's what I'm thinking. I probably have some, God knows, from any of my paper stash, I probably do have a white printed background. So I may just do something simple and just not even recreate something and just come up with that. Then I loved this paper with all the blue jays on it. And the back is just this snowy, muddled, snowy scene. So I wound up having 2 sheets of that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. We'll see. I pulled out 2 dies. Honeybee Snowy Day cover. I'm kind of thinking maybe a blue with a shimmer paper coming, or foil paper coming through it. Or I have this Memory Box Frostyville border. So that's what I pulled out so far. I'm going to see what I like as far as a sketch for this. I haven't really gotten that far with the sketch for this. So I'll be back. I'm going to start cutting the cut aparts, and I figured I better show you. As I decided to cut this first because I am going to go with this sketch, and it needs to be, as I put everything down, it needs to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And in measuring these, they were like a 5. Yeah, they were like 5 by 3 3/4. So I can do these pretty well and get them without missing much of the scene. But what I'm liking, if I do it this way, I will have some possible usable scraps by doing this. Cutting the length first so I don't have a bunch of just like little pieces. I am using a Stampin' Up trimmer. The guillotine type I do have would work as well, but this just happens to be handy. I'll be honest. I like my guillotine. I'll probably do another video on that at some point with what my differences are. So I don't think I'm missing much there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like I said, I do like the shadows, but I don't know that with what I want to do, it's really gonna look good layered up like that. So I do have some, but you know, I don't think it's really adding much, and I can't put it on the inside because it's the wrong direction. Oh joy, my cats are down here and sneezing. Probably getting into areas of the basement they're not supposed to be in. Yeah, go figure. A cat being where they're not supposed to be. There's something new. So that is those. I did pull out, this is a really, really old Stampin' Up color. It's called Bordering Blue. I thought that may give it the, it's like got a gray tone to it. I don't know if I like that color enough. It's got the gray and it's got the blue. And I'm thinking it would be maybe the strip with that. That's what I'm thinking, because the gray looks like it's all in the cool family, but I don't know. Once we start cutting, we shall see. Oh God, can you imagine if I go 3 layers? Ooh, baby. That's something. So those are those. I do want to try and keep this strip, not necessarily for the words. I want to see if I can keep it for the music notes so that I can maybe get some strips to use on with the birdhouses. So I'm going to finish cutting these. Unfortunately, there is a strip I can use on the bottom over here as well. But now you want to watch, because if I do want to use that, I don't want to cut too much, because then I don't want to make that too small. So yeah, I can use that as well. So I got 3 strips now of pretty similar widths. Yeah, these cut aparts here, I don't know. I may wind up just cutting the bird here and maybe just this thing and using it that way, because I'm not really going to get much out of those cut aparts. So this will give me at least, like I said, 5 cards, and out of 1 sheet of paper, 5 cards. I don't think that's too bad, truthfully. So let me get this kind of matted up, or my card stock selected and cut down, and then I'll be back. Alright, I think I've got this figured out what I want to do. I want to try to recreate this background of this like wood plank, and I have this die set here from Honeybee Stamps. It's their wood planks. And what I found was I want to get this like this. So to do that, I took ground espresso distressed oxide ink, and I just started putting it on the dies themselves. So I'm going to try those, and then I want to try one with hickory smoke at the end. Yeah, my hands are getting a little like funky with all this. This is what I found works. And then once this is done, I will just have to clean off with a baby wipe my dies and give it a whirl. So let me try this last one. I don't know it's the one because it's got this stuck on it. Let's just try and get, oh, I got a lot of brown still on there. Let's try some of this hickory smoke on here. And we'll see how that looks. So I'm gonna run these through now. And yeah, let's see my editing, if I can edit this out. If not, I'm sorry. So here's what I have left. So this was the one that was the hickory smoke. It's got my fingerprint in it. Look at that. And there are the ones with the ground espresso. I think I like the hickory smoke a little better, but what I also like with doing this is I can water activate some of these. I don't have my spray bottle here. When I go to mount this up, I'll try it and see. I think if we do some water reaction to that, it'll give me a little bit more of a haze on there. It won't be as distinctive. So I'm going to need, there is 6 panels to a card front, so I have a lot more of these to do. I will be back. I'm back. This is what I came up with. Hope you like it. I let the paper do the talking here. I thought these pictures were just so pretty. I tried to keep it as minimalistic as possible. I can't even speak. I really like how this background came out. I thought I would try and spritz it with some water, and you know, it didn't make a difference. I did them all with the ground espresso. And I'll tell you, I washed my dyes at the kitchen sink afterwards. They came back perfectly fine. So the distressed oxide ink on them did not do any harm. I tried some things with like, well, I'll walk you through. The barn wood planks did need a little bit of the ink on the edges just to give it definition. So I just used my brush that I used to make the coloring on the die, and matter of fact, it's dual purpose because you know I got to get that ink out of there anyway. So so to start with, what I did, I used my card base, because what happens is you're going to get 6 of these panels, and these 6 panels are going to be perfect in their size to fill up this card front. I thought about staggering them, but you know what? You see so little of them, it really, to me, did not make a difference. A couple of them had, where it went a little heavy on the edges, like here, but you don't even see it. By the time I put my sentiment on it and everything, it has an aged look. And I tried to go with the gray. I wanted to do that, but it just did not pull in well with the brown from the ink. It felt like they were just competing with each other, so I tried to stay kind of in the blue family and the browns. Everything from the ink to the papers I selected. I definitely wanted the blue because of the colors in the pictures. Obviously dictated that, you know, I mean, that's just the prettiness of the whole thing, isn't it? So as you can see, they perfectly fill up the front of an A2 size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Love, love, love. I see I'm going to probably be using this a lot more. This paper, if you can see, is a shimmer. It's a blue shimmer. I went with a blue cardstock at first, but you know what? It was just too bland. It needed a little something something. So I was going to use, and if you remember, I'm using this card. This paper's a little bit short, but it'll be fine. I'm using this card sketch from OWH number 44. So I tried to splatter some silver, whatchamacallit, like watercolor, metallic watercolor to give it like a snowy effect. Just like a regular dark navy. Did not look good. So I found the shimmer gives it a little bit of something something without overpowering. Paper I went with was an old Stampin' Up! Color I had that was called Bordering Blue. It is kind of a gray, very like Wedgwoody, you know, like Wedgwood China color. But to me, it gave it a little bit of definition that it needed. God, it's summer here and the fruit flies are out, or gnats or something. Just something little to annoy me. So I thought it gave it a little something for the definition to the back paper. So like I said, these all had a different scene, so I kind of was trying to play with what do I use. Definitely had thought about some silver highlights. Did not work. It's just too rustic, nostalgia, retro kind of look. So I went with the Simon Says Stamps Tiny Words Christmas. Love this set. Love, love, love. I went with the saying that says blessings, peace, and love, and that's on my block. One thing I will warn you is I tried I'm using the Distress Oxide Ground Espresso here. I tried doing as you would always think and just kind of like dabbing in. But if you do that, you're going to get like this. My stamp pad is so like moist. It kind of starts really filling in all the little tiny words. So what I found is if you just leave it on its back, you can really get a good clean level, excuse my head, inking on there. And this is another one, you don't want to rock back and forth. Just go down with it, leave it there, let it pull the ink out, and you're done. Just cut it off, give it a little edge. Personally, I'd love to make this even thinner, but you know what? I gotta quit while I'm ahead. I'll probably do that and I'll screw it all up. So each one of these kind of had to be different. This has a little garden gate here and all. I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to just stick it up over here. And I'm going to call it a day on these. Like I said, you got to know when to quit. And I think this paper is completely telling the story. I don't need to do anything more, in my opinion. I thought about doing some drops on there and stuff, but it's got that muted kind of aged look. So I'm going to leave it there and call it a day. So now I'm on to what I'm going to do with the other two remaining packs. And I'm going to take a look, get some card sketches together, and I'll be back. So apparently I wasn't recording when I thought I was. So I did a previous video talking about how I had this sketch. It's a pretty good to scale. It actually is to scale sketch. The only difference for me is I'm going to do this sketch with this navy paper. Then I'm choosing the snow-flecked looking one. That was flecked, F-L-E-C-K. Do you think I said something else, you know? So for me, this is going to be a little bit smaller. And I opted to go with this one because the next smaller one in my dies was this one. And if I went with this one, I would have had to like move like all the way over here. And I still wasn't going to possibly get the two edges to not have something showing. So I had to go with this one. And it's over 4 inches. This is actually 4 1/4 inches. So I wanted to show how the most I could get out of this, I was able to get 5, and I do still have one laid out here. So I had to take the paper, and I didn't want to cut it up because if I did, I was only going to get 4 because I can't get, you know, I'm only going to get partial side. What I did was I put one in each corner, so I could get one in the center. So here's what I cut out. I've got 1, 2, 3. Well, this is just a random piece of paper. This has nothing to do with it, but this is how I did it. Is I did these like that. And I just put this down and I outlined on the outside of the die because this is in the center, so I'm not getting those lines showing up. So now I'm getting close to having this complete. I have my 5 of these cut. So this is what I'm going with. I was going to do this, and then I realized it wasn't taping. So I think what I'm going with, this is that navy shimmer again here. And I felt like if I just put this down, it didn't have enough break there. So I think I'm gonna go with, I cut this out of the same paper. I'm gonna just give it, because again, it's only showing for this one side. So instead of me trying to figure out another one to cut and everything else, I'm gonna just do this. And I think I'm probably gonna be able to get one die, cut it in half, and just use the reveal for the one side. And then I gotta pick a sentiment. So here's where we are so far. I will come back when it's done and I'll show you the finished product. And then I'll show you what scraps I have left. So I'll be back. I'm back and whew, I'm getting stuck. So here's what I came up with. This is a die set from Honeybee Stamps, and there's a stamp and then you can buy separately the dies, and the dies come in 3 parts. And I'm gonna put, this is this one I did not use that creates an outline around the outline. I'm gonna go Winter Wishes, and I started cutting it out in oh God, I can't even speak, God help me, the white background with the blue ink, because I felt like it was going to be too much blue. Well, then the next time I put it through with the reverse, and you know what, I tried to be quick and I tried to do things professionally, and this is what I get. Because, you know, I just can't do things professionally. Yeah, I'm the goose. Anyway, so I kind of liked it better with the extra blue, so I went with that pattern. I wanted you to see, I mean, I was getting a little hesitant at first because when I was putting this down, I was cutting off quite a bit. I mean, I wound up cutting off like literally like almost half the circle. So I probably, had I known in retrospect, I probably could have saved myself and made 10 of these cards. But if I had counted on doing 10, I probably wouldn't have, because see, you need to have, it's not quite half because you've got to watch these corners over here when you're putting it down. So you don't get quite half. You're a little bit more than half that you're going to wind up cutting off here. So that's one thing about using this sketch number 70 from Operation Right Home. So I wanted to also show you something that when I'm doing this, like I said, I want to do the Winter Wishes. I wanted to do the winter part. And my suggestion is, when you do these ones, this is my lovely bottom plate from my cutting, and it is kind of funky, as you can see. When I go to do this, my dies kind of stick in this groove. I left these right on here. That way I don't miss the top of my eye. Could you imagine I'm gonna miss my eye? Ooh, God, that's like a Christmas story. I'm gonna shoot my eye out. I'm gonna miss my eye. Ooh, I don't know. So anyway, I was just giving a suggestion to do this. And then to line these up, just start with one. I didn't put the glue on. Just start at one letter at a time and lay them out, and you'll get them really easy. But I wanted to give you the suggestion, leave it on your board if you have one like mine where they stick in there so you don't lose it. So then next thing I was doing was, like I said, I want to add Winter Wishes, And I stamped all mine out on this little piece of paper, but it's kind of wide, and I have a guillotine trimmer, and I'm going to be honest, I don't feel like I can get a thin cut, so I am still using my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. You can use any trimmer. I wound up, when I want a thin cut, I use washi tape to get it in there so that I can hold the paper and get the thinner cut that I want. So, hope that helps you all. That was another trick. And I know there's people that use their, you know, trimmers to cut this and all. I'm not. To me, I want to watch how I cut because I don't want to get too big because I want this to be stuck underneath and I don't want to come into here. So, I stamped the words wishes. Like I said, I'm trying to get out of Stampin' Up, so I really don't have many colors outside of some Tim Holtz. And I decided to go with this Gina K. This is Warm Cocoa. And I liked how that came out. Oh, I still feel like it needs something else. I may do, at the end, I may have a couple snowflakes I add in there. We shall see how much time I want to give that. So I will finish these off screen, and that will give me 5. And then what I'm left with is basically these 2 chunks. These strips, which, you know, I don't know if you'd even count that as a scrap. I have my 5 pieces that I cut off that I'm thinking I can probably get a square out of, at least 4, and maybe make one of those cards with like 4 squares on the front. Then I have these pieces that were like in between. So that's where I was getting a little overzealous with the ink before I realized you didn't need that much. So I have these like strips like this. These came off of the background paper, that's why they're still kind of square. And then I have these. So I'm thinking I may be able to cut a reasonable square out of that and do one with the bigger rectangles or something on the front. So we shall see what I can do. But I'm kind of happy. I've gotten, 11 or 12 cards, 10, something like that already out of 3 sheets. So we'll be back. Hello, it's Kristen again. I used up some of my scraps and this card design here from OWH, which is Operation Right Home, sketch number 57. And I followed this pretty close to what the sketch was because I had basically what came out to be 3 pieces of paper. I had this one that I'm going to do here with the snowflakes, and then I had that one piece with the music notes on it. I had to watch and get something in that going up and down because of the direction of that paper. So I came up with these, and I wanted to use up, this is a piece of this navy shimmer paper that I've had, and it's a very lightweight. I want to say it's only like maybe 60 pounds. So I really had to watch trying to get on the paper. I really didn't want to try and use my ATG because that seems to tear the paper up. But I also wanted to get rid of it because I'm starting to notice there's not much, but there's a little bit of black, like discoloration coming in on the edge. So that's another reason why it's a good thing to use up your stash, kind of get rid of it, because some of the papers will start kind of getting color changes based on how much light, humidity, and all that. So when I put this down, I felt like without a background paper, it just was very flat. The other thing was I made sure I cut these papers so that I had something to view in the paper, meaning like I cut it so that the birds were kind of in the focal point of this. And I also made a point so that the focal point of this was to the bottom, but this was like to the top, because I knew putting this down, I needed some room there. So I used this gray just to give it a little bit of a height, to give it different like a different height, which gives it a different texture. but also a different coloration to give the visual to your eye of a breaking point in there. So this one I had already cut. This was a mess, but you know what? If you can see, like, I screwed up. I cut one too big and one too small, because if you look at this one, these were too big, and I had already put them down before I noticed. But you know what? People getting this really aren't going to know, because they don't know what it's supposed to look like. So I think we stress out more on our cards being perfect than what our people getting them receive it. Now this is a little bit too big for this paper too, but I'm going to push it down to the bottom. Again, I'm going to have some of this hidden with the sentiment on this stamp. So, you know, I try to do things as you know, perfectly as I can, but you know what? At the end of it all, nobody really knows what this sketch was supposed to look like. You know, even if it's somebody that makes cards and you give it to them, they don't really know. I mean, unless they're following the same people you're following, they don't know. So don't stress. Now, when I saw this stamp set and being used, I loved it. This was from May Made It, and this is her ornamental greetings, and every single one of these are supposed to be able to fit inside of this ornament, but it also fits in a circular punch. Now, I cut the background silver. This is a silver glitter in with a 2-inch punch. I keep punches in certain sizes and stuff because it's just, to me, easier to punch out a bunch than trying to die cut. So I used a 1 3/4 and got this Love, Peace, and Joy. Now I'm thinking you can probably get it even tighter than that. I would say at a minimum it is an 1.5 inches if you wanted to. So, like I said, I just added 1/8 of an inch to these to get the gray on here in the background, and used third dimensions. And then for the stamping, I used Simon Says Stamps Soft Navy, and I really liked I'm kind of still new to these other brands of ink, and I'm really having to say I really liked how her stamp stamped, and I'm liking how this color looked. The surface of it looks very purple, but you know what? I found it really does. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of I don't know if it's allergies or what. It is staining my stamp, which I'll just have to deal with that. I try to keep my stamps clean, but you know what? When you have those polymers, it just doesn't happen. So I'm just using a piece of scrap and punching that out. And like I said, this was a scrap of silver. This was actually I think a sample I got from a company. I don't even remember where. So I'm using up quite a bit of the scraps with this, which made me happy. So here's what I had, and it looked kind of bland, so I felt like it needed just something else small, which is what made me dig out these snowflakes. And I did punches with these. This, told you, I got stuff from all, it seems like, eras of crafting. I have an old Martha Stewart snowflake. It's written snowflake on there, so my guess is I probably got this at a yard sale. But you can just use any size. If I had to guess, this is probably about a 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 inch snowflake. And then I had this that I used for the smaller ones, and because of its, oh, it says EK on it, I think this may have been one I got with like 2 or 3 of them in the pack. But I love this one because it's so small. Sometimes you need a smaller snowflake to just layer up with, and that's what I felt these cards needed. So I did kind of build them up with the 2 layers and just offset that center one so that you get that effect. So I just kind of wanted to put them in a random pattern, but I don't want to, you know, I really want to don't make sure I cover up my blue jays that are showing there, because that's the point of the whole paper, was to bring a highlight to them. So I made a point when I did these to not cover them up, but also to cut them so they were visible. And then I just threw a small rhinestone. Again, I'm using stuff up. I don't even know where, I don't even remember ordering these from Stampin' Up. It's their old jewels. I think their jewels are pretty much the same as what they're selling now, but I think they're selling them now in a different combination. This came with, here's another old set I had. This had, I guess like four sizes in there. And I think they went down to, I think I heard they went down to like 3 now. So, you know, the purpose of the jewel picker is to get the jewels on there, but there we go. I do find that they have a nicer glitter to them than some of the cheaper ones I've gotten at like Hobby Lobby. But, you know, it's on there just to give a little bling. So that is this card. I have one more card to bring you that's going to be shown in a minute. So I'll be right back. So here's the last card in this series. I really had to reach and get into the scraps for this. I'm using the Mama Elephant circular grid die, and it cuts out this stitched edge along the outside and a circular pattern on the inside. So I liked this because some of these other manufacturers will make some of these and they'll do a stitched on the inside for these. But I wanted my papers, like I said before, to really kind of tell a story with this. This one, I don't know if you can see, I did put it up and I tried like Christy Marcotte where she puts the double-sided. I only have foam tape and not the double-sided tape. So I really went back to, I want to do this one and I'm going to just do the glue because truthfully it was a lot of tape in my opinion. I only have the roll. I think it's like maybe like a 1/2 inch. It took, I don't even know how many, because you're gonna look, this is, you know, like it takes up the whole card front, so it's 6 inches and it took, you know, probably took about a yard just to do that. And to me, it's not adding anything to the card. So I'm going to use the liquid glue so I can get it between all of the windows because I need those windows down tight. This one filled up the whole card front. I do have a little bit here, so I'll probably trim that off. So I'm going to just start laying out. I want this kind of down because I have that little bit of a gray frame on it and it makes it almost look like I didn't cut the paper fully. Okay, well, I'm making a video. Now you're in it. Oh, so I thought I had a piece. I do somewheres. Here's one. I didn't get the hole, and you know what? It's going right here behind that. That one has to go right here so I can hide that little piece that did not get cut. So right now I'm going to just sit here and play with these so I can get them in some configuration that I'm kind of happy with. So there's that. Try not to get something together that's the same, but I figure here, this has got to stay here. I got 2 together there. I'm not going to be able to avoid it, but it is what it is. So we'll put these here. So I'll tape these down in a minute, but then I wanted to show you is how I did this ribbon behind it. To me, I just take my fingers and go around it several times. Then I cut it. So now you have this like big loopy mess, right? So use your reverse tweezers and just hold them on there. So now I will just take, I got about a 6-inch, it doesn't matter how long it is because you're going to cut it anyway. And it doesn't matter front, back, there is no front, back right now. But you just want to get yourself, hold it there till you can get yourself a knot. And just tie yourself a tight knot. Now don't be stressed out yet, because what you're going to do is fool with these loops until you get them like where you want them. Now this to me is too big. So I'm going to throw that aside. I need, I guess, 3 fingers. You know, this is the life. 1, 2, 3. It's about enough. Yeah, that looks better, because if you notice the compare, oh yeah, much better. So I think I must have only did 3 fingers and I was trying to do 4 that time. It's almost like making a pom-pom, really. If you ever did that, making pom-poms was kind of cool when you were like 10. I used to put them on everything. Oh my god, all my shoelaces had them. I went through that phase for about 2 weeks, and then I figured out what a pain they were, so then they came off. But anyway, so now, what's good about this is you can push this loop like back and forth till you get them evened out. And then you just want to push all the tails to the bottom, which I have a tail here, but it's not that long. But that's fine. You look, just snip them all off. So I'm going to glue that on. Now I do have some of the, if some of the loops are twisting, they were on the other one. I just run my finger over some of the wax and saturate the threads with it, and you can get your stuff to behave better. But that's behaving pretty good. So I'm gonna I can put like a block on that for a little bit. Then I stamped Let It Snow from the Hero Arts. I called it Christmas Tree. It's the CL887. I think I bought this at probably like Michael's. But you can put any sentiment. I just put it on because I wanted something to be straight. And this one, I pushed it too far back. So just, I used the snowflake to kind of hide the center. You don't really have to, but I wanted to. You don't even need this on straight. Oh, I forgot I hadn't glued all these down yet. Yeah. But you can just glue that in the center. I just put a rhinestone in there and use some more of my snowflakes. And that was my 15th card. So out of this paper pack, I had these 2. It wasn't a paper pack, was it? It was a, excuse me, it was 3 sheets of 12 by 12 that I wanted to use up. So we have those 2. Oh wait, here's all the scraps I have left. Truly, that is it. And here's where I told you I was using every piece of scrap I could to get those. So that's the scraps I have left. Here was the original. So these are going in a scrap box to just give away. Find my scrap box. So I had these 5. We had those. We had these 5. I left those as they were. I then have these 5 that I just did. And I just added a snowflake with a rhinestone to give that some dressing up. I just felt like it needed something else. So that's them. And then I had these 3 that we just did. So 15 cards out of the 3 packs. I felt like that was a very good fix. So I hope you'd enjoyed it. Please subscribe. I'd love to be able to connect with you more. I'd love to see what you're working on. Love to see if you have any suggestions on how you would have done something different with this pack. So please comment below and hope to hear from you soon.